Alright guys, Tommy and welcome to a new video. This is my WWE Monday Night Raw review for the 15th of February 2016. So I got up this morning and I had to make a decision whether I watch Better Call Saul or I watch Monday Night Raw. But I thought for you guys, I'd watch Monday Night Raw so I could bring you a Raw review onto the channel. So I think that was the best decision to make. Here we go. Here is the Raw review. We're going to start right at the beginning of Monday Night Raw, talk about every single thing which happened. It's going to be great. Let's get right into this. Smash the likes. Let's go for 200 likes on today's video. That'd be absolutely awesome. Let's just get into this Monday Night Raw review. Overall, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, but honestly, I think for a 3-hour show, we usually complain about how long Monday Night Raw is, but I think for a 3-hour show, they fit a lot in, and to be honest, they could have done with another hour because there was so much work to do towards the Fastlane pay-per-view. They did well to fit it all into Monday Night Raw this week, so we weren't spoiled for choice. It wasn't boring. I think they fit a lot into the 3-hour show, and it was actually pretty good, but it's going to get a 7 out of 10 from me. This was the go-home show for the Fastlane pay-per-view. I thought it was pretty good. The main event, the ending was pretty naffy. That was probably the worst thing about the show. We'll talk about the main event towards the end of the video, but I think Monday Night Raw this week got off to a really great way, because we had Dean Ambrose come out, and I was like, holy shit, yes, this is a great way to start Monday Night Raw, because usually we start Monday Night Raw with Stephanie McMahon, the Authority coming out, boring, but we had Dean freaking Ambrose, and he was calling out bloody Brock Lesnar. He wanted Brock Lesnar, he wanted another F5, but the huge bummer was, Brock Lesnar wasn't even on Monday Night Raw. If you watched my Raw preview, you would have already known that, but that was a huge bummer because it's the go-home show with 6 days away from the Fastlane pay-per-view, and like the biggest attraction isn't even there, so that was hugely crappy. But instead, we got Stephanie McMahon, and to be honest, she made up for the fact that Brock Lesnar wasn't on Monday Night Raw, because she announced there would now be a 5-man match, a fatal 5-way she called it, for Dean Ambrose's Intercontinental Championship, and that would be straight up right after this. How cool is that? So we start off Monday Night Raw in a huge, explosive way. Yes, we don't get Brock Lesnar, but they made up for it, because we got an Intercontinental Championship match right there, right then, with 5 freaking people in it. That makes up for the fact Brock Lesnar wasn't there. So what an explosive way to get off, to start Monday Night Raw. It was great, and guess what? We got a freaking title change, which makes it even better. I was really, when they announced the triple threat match for the Fastlane pay-per-view, I was wondering, so what they're going to do with the Intercontinental Championship. I've been expecting Dean Ambrose to drop it for weeks now, and he finally did on the last show. So here we go. Kevin Owens is the new Intercontinental Champion. There was a little bit of a gripe about the match though. Why is Stardust and why is Tyler Breeze in this match? When did they earn an opportunity to be in this match? I mean, Tyler Breeze and Stardust, both of them have lost. Like, if you look, since the Royal Rumble, I bet they've lost on every single Monday Night Raw, but for some reason, they get a title match, which makes absolute no sense, but it proves how slim the roster is and how few superstars they bother to build up, that they couldn't even find 4 credible people to go up against Dean Ambrose here. So there you go. Don't know why these two were in this match, but it was a pretty awesome match and I really liked it. I was predicting that Dean Ambrose would drop the title when they announced this match, and that's exactly what happened. We didn't know this match was happening, which I thought was friggin' awesome. Very entertaining match. They gave it plenty of time. Bloody awesome way to start Monday Night Raw. Kevin Owens reclaims the title, which is amazing because he's a great champion. I really like Kevin Owens. It's the Kevin Owens show. It's going to be a great road to WrestleMania now that Owens has got his title belt back. Yes, yes, yes. And then they announce that he will defend it against Dolph Ziggler at the Fastlane pay-per-view, which I've been asking for weeks, because they had a match. I think they had a match last week or the week before, and it was awesome. It was so good, and I was like, I want to see that match again. So now, we're going to get Kevin Owens defending his title for the first time since winning it back against Dolph frickin' Ziggler at the Fastlane pay-per-view. That's exactly what I wanted. Brilliant idea. I didn't care if it was for the title, but now Kevin Owens has got the IC title, and he's against Dolph Ziggler. That's like 2 amazing things in one. It's going to be awesome. But just talking about the ending towards this fatal 5-way match, That was awesome, because I think Stardust was going to get DDT'd. He was going to get Dirty Deeds by Dean Ambrose. Dolph Ziggler sneaks behind Dean Ambrose and gives him the zigzag, so Stardust goes crashing forward, and it's almost like Dean Ambrose gave him a DDT whilst getting zigzagged at the same time. That was awesome. Then we saw a pop-up powerbomb by Kevin Owens onto Tyler Breeze. Then he wins the title. That's awesome. Makes sense for Dean Ambrose to drop the title now that he's in this WWE World Heavyweight Championship match in the main event. That gives Kevin Owens the title. He'll defend it on the pay-per-view. It just makes complete sense. Brilliant way to start Monday Night Raw. I absolutely loved it. Kevin Owens is a beast. This match was a beast. Anyway, we're moving on to the next match, which was the WWE Tag Team Champions. The New Day, or should I say Big E, defeating Mark Henry. So this was sort of a mini feud that they've made over the last week, because Mark Henry walked out of the New Day in their match I think it was in the main event of last week's Monday Night Raw. Don't quote me on that, but basically Mark Henry left the New Day hanging on Monday Night Raw last week. I'm not sure if we all remember that, but apparently that's what happened. So Big E went and defeated Mark Henry, and that's that. Nothing much to talk about this, except the ending, which was absolutely atrocious. Big E goes for the big ending. He's got Mark Henry on the shoulders. Some reason Mark Henry falls off, or he gets out the way. He falls down below Big E, and Big E pins him, and that's it. Like, what? This might be like the worst ending to a wrestling match we will see all year. I mean, there was one spot at the Royal Rumble in the pre-show where it just was all over the place. I think this involved Mark Henry as well, but this was even worse because he fell over and then Big E pinned him, and that was that. Like, no special finisher, nothing like that. That's that. Nothing. It didn't even make sense. What the fuck? I have no idea. But in my Raw preview, I did talk about the fact that how the New Day weren't going to be on the pay-per-view. It just didn't seem like there was room for them now that the Usos faced the Dudley Boys. So I was like, surely you've got to have like one of the most popular tag teams ever on the Fastlane pay-per-view. And we've got an announcement that we will now have Edge and Christian's Cutting Edge Peep Show on the Fastlane pay-per-view. That's going to be great. I actually really looking forward to that, because now, yes, the New Day officially will be on the Fastlane pay-per-view, and it's not on any pre-show bullshit. It will be on the main show. I sort of realised that maybe the reason they've got Edge and Christian on the show is to advertise their new network show, which actually premieres, I think, like the night after Fastlane, but who cares? This is an excuse to have the New Day on the pay-per-view, which is great. Didn't seem like there was room for them. They've managed to squeeze them on. That's awesome. And I really look forward to that. Now we move on. We had a Divas champion, Charlotte, confronting Brie Bella. So, it turns out Charlotte played a great heel in this promo. Honestly, I thought both of the Divas talked really well on the mic. Brie Bella has improved so much. She talks so much better than her sister on the mic. Not sure if I enjoyed it, but it worked. It did work. Now, they definitely needed to build this match, because I don't know how Brie Bella got a Divas match in the first place, but up until this point, they had hardly built this match whatsoever. I think Brie Bella had beaten Charlotte, and apparently she gets a Divas title match, or something like that. I can't really remember, but Brie Bella and Charlotte, they've hardly built their match at all, so we really needed a segment like this, and it actually really worked, because Charlotte was complaining about Brie Bella. She was sort of exaggerating, taking the piss about the fact Daniel Bryan retired last week, and she was saying she was selfish because she was going to be at Fastlane instead of staying at home with Daniel Bryan. She plays a heel really well. Not sure what Ric Flair really needed to be out there. He was sort of like goofing around. If you watch his face, he doesn't say anything, he just goes... Like, he doesn't need to be there anymore. I'm just kind of getting sick of him just standing there. Anyway, it ends with Brie Bella kicking Charlotte like Daniel Bryan does when they're on their knees. Yeah, I don't really like the fact that she does the yes chant and she does Daniel Bryan's moves. I think that's really cheesy, very cringy, but at the end of the day, they both had some good mic skills here, and they've definitely improved. Charlotte plays a heel very well. Not really sure I'm excited for this match, but at least they've built it, because it definitely needed something like this. So there you go. We're looking forward, well, some people are looking forward to that match, but it served a purpose, and I was quite impressed with the mic work that they managed to do. The next match was AJ Styles defeating The Miz. I thought this match was going to happen at the Fastlane pay-per-view, but the only real story behind this match, well, to be honest, it went on for like ages. This match was really long, and I don't really mind because it was probably The Miz's best match in the WWE. I'm not even kidding. This was a really, really good match for The Miz and also AJ Styles. They put on a very, very good match here. It was actually really entertaining. What did he won with his submission maneuver. I always forget what it's called. It's called like the calf. What do they call it? They call it the calf crusher. They call it the calf crusher. So AJ Styles wins with the calf crusher. Makes sense for AJ Styles to go over here because he's just come into the WWE. So he's just coming off that sort of debut and he needs all the wins he can get. This makes sense as well because he's trying to put pressure on Chris Jericho to accept his match. So AJ Styles, after the match, he asks Chris Jericho if they want one more match. This will practically be the rubber match between Jericho against AJ Styles. Looks like Jericho is going to wait until SmackDown to announce whether or not Chris Jericho and AJ Styles will have that match at the Fastlane pay-per-view. So, yeah, it seems like they build their SmackDown matches up better than the actual Fastlane pay-per-views. I mean, we've got Brock Lesnar on SmackDown this week, and now Chris Jericho and AJ Styles are going to announce whether they will have a match at the Fastlane pay-per-view. So they build up SmackDown more than they build up their pay-per-views. But anyhow, SmackDown looks like a must-watch this week, gives us a reason to watch it, and I'm really excited, and fingers crossed Chris Jericho accepts that match. But anyway, don't take anything away from The Miz, because he actually had a really good match here, and I thought it was really, really good. Okay, so the next match was Summer Rae defeating Paige. We haven't seen Summer Rae wrestle on TV for, I don't even know how long. It could even be like 2 years, something ridiculous like that. But this match was pretty good. Didn't give it enough time. They simply didn't give it enough time. Give them 10 minutes, this could have been great, because what we saw of it, we got about a 3-minute match. Awesome. I thought this was really, really good. I'd love to see Summer Rae continually on Monday Night Raw. I think she's great. They could do a lot with her, but for some reason, they only gave it 3 minutes because these two are brilliant wrestlers. Awesome match. Cool that Summer Rae won, but it really doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. And overall, it was just an advertisement for the Total Divas show. But if they did something with Summer Rae, they could do a hell of a lot with her because she's awesome. And this match was great, but at the end of the day, it was just an advertisement for the Total Divas show. The next thing we got was Roman Reigns confronting Paul Heyman. This was a great Paul Heyman promo. We didn't have Brock Lesnar, but at least we got a great Paul Heyman promo. And he was kind of putting a little bit of a spanner in the works. He was saying to Roman Reigns, will you choose your daughter or will you choose your friend? Sort of asking a question if he's going to turn on his friend Dean Ambrose. Adds a little bit of a subplot to the Fastlane main event. Plays into Paul Heyman's hands quite nicely because he doesn't want these two to team up, because he knows his Brock Lesnar, the Beast, will be outnumbered. But something happened after this. Dean Ambrose went for a freaking dirty deeds on his friend Roman Reigns. Didn't happen, but it's just a little bit of a hint as to what might happen at the Fastlane pay-per-view. Is Dean Ambrose going to turn heel at the Fastlane pay-per-view? Could it be Roman Reigns? It's just a little bit of a hint on what sparks could fly at the Fastlane pay-per-view. I think they did something really clever here. They didn't turn anybody heel. They just hinted at a little bit of dissension. Something is slightly happening in the Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose camp. You're going to have to watch the pay-per-view to find out if anything unfolds between the two. What's going to happen at the pay-per-view? This was a really great hint. Honestly, if you saw this, it just makes you want to watch the main event because you just don't know what is going to go off in the main event of the Fastlane pay-per-view. So I think they did this really, really well. They're still friends, but there's a little bit of a hint that jealousy or something's going to happen, and I think they did this really well. But I thought this Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns promo was great. I sort of lost concentration when Roman Reigns started talking, so can't really remember much what he said, but what Paul Heyman said was great, and I really liked it. The next thing we saw was Heath Slater defeating Zack Ryder. Yeah, I cringe every time the Social Outcasts come out on Monday Night Raw. Don't want to see any more of this. Zack Ryder, it's cool you're on TV, bro, but when you're in a match with the Social Outcasts, nobody gives a fuck. And by the way, does Slater even have a name for his finisher? I don't know, because nobody cares. Anyway, we then had a match between Sheamus, Rusev and Alberto Del Rio, defeating the Lucha Dragons and Neville. And it looks like the Lucha Kalisto and Del Rio's match has been pushed to the pre-show. It looks like maybe the New Day have taken up too much time with their epic promos, but they're now on the pre-show instead of the Fastlane pay-per-view, which is kind of weird, but I guess they kind of realised that nobody wants to see that match again, because we have seen it about 6 times, but this match was just a rip-off of the week before, which wasn't even a good match anyway, but we got it again the week after. I think this time they just added in Neville to this match, and it was nothing new, nothing spectacular. At the end of the day, Del Rio won, which makes sense because he's the challenger for Kalisto's title, and it sort of begs the question, if he won here, surely he can win at the Fastlane pay-per-view. So we'll see what unfolds on the pre-show on Sunday, but this was the exact same finish we saw last week on Monday Night Raw. The same similar match, brought nothing new to the table, a little bit of a waste of time, but it was really the only wasted time they had on Monday Night Raw, because they did use the time quite wisely. The next match we had was Becky Lynch defeating Naomi after we saw Naomi and Tamina attack Becky Lynch backstage, which, does build their match, but who really cares about this match, because we all wanted to see Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks take on Charlotte in the triple threat match for the Divas title at Fastlane. That's what I wanted to see, so I don't care about this feud whatsoever. I think they're giving way too much time, TV time, to Naomi and Tamina, who honestly, they don't bring anything new to the table. They're pretty boring. This Team Bad thing is completely boring. But anyway, we then had Sasha Banks come out when Becky Lynch was getting beat down by Naomi and Tamina, which doesn't really make sense, because wouldn't Sasha Banks just be out there anyway to support her tag team member? Why would she wait in the back until she's getting beaten down until she comes out? Wouldn't she just be out anyway? But nevertheless, this doesn't really do much for me, because I'm not excited for the match whatsoever. I don't know anybody that's excited for this match, but yeah, didn't really do much. The next match, and the final match, was probably the crappiest main event we will get all year, or maybe in the next 10 years. It was Big Show defeating Braun Strowman via disqualification. I mean, what? It's not even a good match. Like, Big Show, he can't wrestle. Braun Strowman, he's even worse. Let's have a great idea. Let's put them in the main event of Monday Night Raw, the go-home show for the Fastlane pay-per-view. This is really going to make people want to buy the Fastlane pay-per-view. No. And it's not even an official match yet. Like, they're not even advertising a Fastlane match which has been announced. Like, what does this segment achieve? I mean, yeah, they're probably going to make a match now between the Wyatt family against Big Show, Ryback and Kane, but at this current time, it's not even announced yet. Like, why would this end your go-home show for the Fastlane pay-per-view? This makes no sense. Surely the main event of the Fastlane pay-per-view should be the main event or close your Monday Night Raw. Like, what? Why didn't they have a segment with Ambrose, or why didn't they have the segment with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns to end the show? Why is this ending the show? It makes absolutely no sense. It's not exciting. It's not cool. It doesn't make you want to buy the pay-per-view. If they ended the show with Dean Ambrose trying to dirty deeds Roman Reigns, that makes complete sense, because, yeah, it leaves it on a cliffhanger and you're like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? We all know the Wyatt family are going to win at Fastlane anyway. This is like the least exciting match on the card, so why is it main eventing Monday Night Raw? The only cool thing about this was Kane coming through the ring canvas. But even that's an exaggeration, because nobody even cares about this feud, so why would they even bother having Kane rise from above the ring? Like, what? He should only do that when he's in a feud with somebody like The Undertaker. What? This is like such an exaggeration. It's only the bloody Wyatt family. Like, this was such a retarded idea. This match shouldn't even have happened, never mind main evented Monday Night Raw, and the match ended in disqualification. Like, And then, when Big Show's getting beat down, Ryback comes down on his own, and then 5 minutes later, Kane comes and helps. Why didn't they all just come down at the same time? That would have made so much more sense. But anyway, they could have done a lot better. They could have ended the show with the Dean Ambrose trying to dirty deeds Roman Reigns. That, like, obviously makes a lot more sense, but they're not that wise. So anyway, I thought this Monday Night Raw was actually pretty good. They fit a lot into this week's Monday Night Raw. We've got a few more things for the Fastlane pay-per-view announced. I think everything is nicely sealed and packaged, to be honest. I think it all came together this week on Monday Night Raw, except the main event, which isn't actually a match yet, but everything else seems like it's all sealed and dealed, and we will get to find out what happens at the Fastlane pay-per-view. So honestly, Fastlane's going to be great. This Monday Night Raw was a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys. Please do smash the likes and go for 200 likes on this video. Follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Yeah, you know the drill. Take care. Spike your hair. Alright guys, Tom here and welcome to a new video. Today we are doing an online match where we use Stone Cold Steve Austin against somebody else who is playing as Roman Reigns. Let's see how this one goes down. Smash the likes, guys. Let's get right into this.